Hello students, our today's lecture topic is electrical machines. In this part, we will be studying about AC machines. So we will study about induction motor. So induction machine and induction motor is also known as asynchronous machine. So we will be studying its construction. We will see the types of induction motor. We will see working of three-phase induction motor, and then we will learn about the slip speed in induction motor. So this three-phase induction motor, it is the most widely used in induction motor or electrical motor. 80% of the mechanical power utilized in industries is because of the induction motor. Why? Because it is simple in construction and it is also rugged and robust. It costs very low and it has a very good operating characteristics. An absence of commutator and brushes makes it loss free. It also provides a good speed regulation. So, in a three-phase induction motor, the power is transferred from stator to rotor windings through induction. That's why the name induction came. This motor is also called as asynchronous motor because it runs at a speed other than the synchronous speed. So these 2 points are important, that it works on the induction principle, and it is called as asynchronous motor because it does not run at synchronous speed. So we will first study the construction. For construction, any of the machine will consist of two parts, that is the stator and the rotor. Stator, as the name suggests, is the stationary part, and rotor, as the name suggests, is the rotating part. So a stator winding is placed in the stator of the induction motor, in which three-phase supply is given, and the rotor of the induction motor is connected to the mechanical load through the shaft. Here in the pictures you can see induction motors. So as there are two parts, mainly stator and rotor, we will study about each part in detail. So first we will see construction of stator, and the first part in the stator is the stator frame. This is the stator frame. It is the outer part of the three-phase induction motor. It provides mechanical strength and support to the motor. This frame is made up of cast iron or some fabricated steel. This is very strong and rigid. So here also in this diagram also you can see this is the stator frame and this is the terminal box attached to it. The next part of the stator is the stator core. Now you can see here the stator core is there, or in this diagram this is the stator core. The stator core will be carrying the alternating flux. So this stator core is made up of stampings. Stampings are just laminations, means this is not made solid, this is made into laminations and stacked up together. We know why this is made with laminations, in order to reduce the eddy current loss. So the stampings or laminations of this stator are 0.3 or 0 to 0.5 mm thick, and this together are stamped together, and these punches are cut out, and these punches are known as slot, and this is known as the tooth. So this is the slot of the stator core and this is the tooth of the stator core. This stator core is made up of silicon steel. Why it is made up of silicon steel? In order to reduce the hysteresis loss occurring in the motor. So the next part of the stator is the stator winding or the field winding. So here is how the winding is attached. So the slots in the stator core carry three-phase windings. These three-phase windings can be connected either in star or in delta according to the type of starting method. So there were three parts for the stator, mainly the stator frame, then the stator core, and then the stator winding. Now coming to the rotor. Now according to the type of rotor or the construction of rotor, induction machine is of two types. So the first one is the squirrel cage rotor. This is the construction of a squirrel cage rotor. So you can see the rotor of a squirrel cage three-phase induction motor is cylindrical in shape and it has slots in its periphery, and these are made parallel to each other, but these are not straight. These are somewhat skewed, means ये थोड़े से tilted रहते हैं, straight नहीं होते हैं. Because if these are skewed, then they will prevent magnetic locking of the stator and the rotor. Yes, this skew thing will also provide that there is no humming noise or no noise of the motor, or we can reduce the noise of the motor by skewing this rotor bars. Also, so this squirrel cage rotor bar consists of aluminum, brass or copper bars, and if we are skewing this, then the length is increased. So if the length is increased, the resistance of this rotor bars is also increased. So this aluminum, brass or copper bars are known as rotor conductors. To provide mechanical strength to this conductor, at the end they are jotted with the end ring. Okay, they are bolted with the end ring. And now this arrangement looks like a squirrel cage, means गिलहरी के पिंजरे जैसा ही इसका shape है, तो that's why it is known as squirrel cage rotor. So these end rings are permanently short. So the rotor resistance is quite small, and it is not possible that we can connect some external resistance. So for a squirrel cage rotor, we won't be able to connect any external resistance. So there is no slip ring, no external resistance connected to this. So this kind of motors are more robust and strong. So mostly we use squirrel cage rotor. So the construction of this rotor is very simple. Secondly, there are no brushes, no commutator. So this kind of rotor requires less maintenance and it is highly advantageous for use. Now where this squirrel cage induction rotors are used, they are used in lathe machine, in drilling machine, in blower printing machine, etc. Now coming to the second type is our face wound rotor, or it is also known as slip ring rotor. So here you can see the diagram. These three are the slip ring. Here these three are the slip rings. So in this type of three-phase induction motor, same number of poles are wound in the rotor as in the stator, but there will be fewer slots in the rotor. Also the rotor will carry star or delta windings similar to that of the stator. Now here also slots are there and rotor winding are placed in these slots, and these rotor slots are skewed. For the same purposes, the rotor slots are not made straight. इसको हल्का सा टेढ़ा बनाया जाता है. They are skewed in nature. So this is a three-phase slip ring induction motor. So it consists of three slip rings because of the three phase, and it is connected to the shaft. These three ends of the three phase windings are permanently connected to the slip rings. So any external resistance can be added through this slip rings. Why this is done? So that we can improve the starting torque. With low current we can get a high torque. So we will be seeing the electrical diagram of this slip ring three-phase induction motor. Suppose this is a star connected rotor winding. So with each phase a slip ring is connected, and with slip ring some external resistance or rheostat is connected. So at the starting the resistance is connected to the rotor circuit is gradually cut down as the rotor picks up its speed. So this is what the use of this slip ring motor. So what are the advantages for slip ring induction motor? It will have a high starting torque and low starting current. And as we can add the external resistance, it will be helpful in controlling the speed of the induction motor. Now where this slip ring induction motor is used? It is used in hoist. Means in power plants we have elevators which are known as hoist, so that coal can be transferred from one place to another place, or this can be used in cranes also. Now coming to working of three-phase induction motor. So this we have studied in the previous video how a rotating magnetic field gets developed. So consider this is as a stator of the induction motor. It has 6 poles and there are 3-phase winding wound in this pole. So stator of the motor consists this winding and it will develop flux at 120 degree apart from each other from each phase. So this will establish a rotating magnetic field, and in the previous video we have seen this, and we have also learned that this rotating magnetic field will run in the speed as synchronous speed. So what happens is, according to Faraday's law, EMF will induced in the circuit due to the rate of change of the magnetic flux linkage through the circuit, and if the rotor winding of the induction motor is closed circuited or is shorted by some external resistance, then the stator rotating magnetic field will be cut by that rotor conductors or copper bars, and due to this the EMF generated and the short circuitness current will flow through the rotor conductor. So a relative speed will develop. So this what happens in an induction motor. The relative speed which gets developed between the rotating flux and the static rotor will cause current generation, and as per Lenz's law, this rotor will rotate in the same direction of the rotating magnetic field. Why it will rotate in the same direction? Because according to Lenz's law, it would avoid the cause. It would try to reduce the cause. So the relative velocity between the stator flux and the stationary rotor was the cause. So it will try to cover up that relative speed, means it will try to cover that relative speed and make the relative speed zero, but it is not practically possible. So the rotor speed will never reach the synchronous speed, but it will try to reach the synchronous speed. If suppose this rotor speeds becomes to equals to synchronous speed, then there will be no relative speed, the relative speed will be zero, so no current will flow and no torque could be generated. But if there is relative speed, there will be torque generation, there will be force which will be applicable to this motor, and it will rotate in the direction of the rotating magnetic field with some speed nr which is less than the speed of the synchronous, speed. So this difference between the stator speed and rotor speed is called as slip speed. So we will study the slip in induction motor. Suppose ns is the synchronous speed in revolution per minute, and ns is given as 120 fs upon p. So if we increase the number of poles, the speed will decrease, and if we reduce the number of poles, speed will increase. And suppose nr is the actual rotor speed, and nr is definitely less than ns. So nr is also in rpm. So the slip speed for the induction motor will be given as ns minus nr. This is the speed of the rotating magnetic field, and this is the speed of the rotor. Now slip will be given as ns minus nr divided by ns in per unit, and for percentage slip we will multiply this by 100. So by this, if you try to calculate nr, you will get nr as ns into 1 minus s. Why it is called slip? Because the rotor is it will slip it can't cover, it can't rotate in the speed of synchronous speed, so it slips to rotate. So that's why this is known as slip. So rotor will rotate at some lesser speed, and which will be equals to ns into 1 minus s. Thank you for listening.